And we're live. Welcome to Whiskey Watching the Wheels, the #1 podcast in Toadsuck, Arkansas. I'm the phenomenal Matt Green, and with the boys tonight, we're going to be giving y'all a phenomenal episode. Boys, introduce yourselves.
I'm Kevin.
Casey.
It's all right.
James.
I love that. You know, I actually, at this point right now, I hope we don't get any better. I hope it just stays that way. It's our new thing.
I really thought we had like an order.
We did.
Well, you
but
know.
we kept forgetting it.
Well, we know that I'm first, and then whenever you guys just throw it up there, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And I don't have to be first, so you guys can be first. No big deal. So how's everyone doing, man? I've had a rough week so far. You guys doing all right?
Yeah.
Still alive.
It's only Wednesday.
It is only Wednesday, man. And all day I kept thinking it was Thursday. And I'm like, fuck, I still got 2 more days. So, and it's supposed to rain like hell this
Wednesday's
weekend.
almost over. So it's really Thursday, which essentially is almost Friday, which means it's the weekend. So.
True. But here in Florida, it's supposed to rain all weekend. And I feel so sorry for the poor schmucks going to the Daytona 500 on Sunday because I've been there when it's raining and it's cold and it's supposed to be both. And it sucks balls when it does. So
I got to go to San Francisco in the morning.
Really? What time are you flying out? Like early?
Flight leaves at like 6. Yeah.
Oh, wow. God
Super
bless you.
exciting.
So, yeah. Well, I'm glad you decided to join us tonight.
Of course.
Yeah.
What else?
Yes, and for those of you listening, it's Valentine's Day.
Yes, exactly. We are recording this on Valentine's Day, and instead of being with any beautiful women, we're with each other. So there you go.
You're lucky.
Well, happy Valentine's Day, guys.
Happy Valentine's Day to you guys. See, I got a red cup holder just for y'all. So I guess we can go ahead and do our standard wristwatch check, see what everyone's rocking tonight. Who wants to get us going?
Go ahead, Casey.
All right, I'll go. Tonight I have another new one I am excited about. I'll pull it up here. Ooh, I do not know which one it is. There we go. It is a Seiko Zara.
Zoom in, please.
Zoom in. There you go. Oh, that's all the zoom you get.
Really?
Is that good?
There you go.
Wow.
There
That's
you go.
fine. Yeah.
But super cool. It's a big chunker. I like it. It's the blue dial. I think is pretty kick-ass. I think the numbers are 613-80020. Nicknamed the Zara. I don't really know much about the Zara guy, except that he was some sort of driver. But the interwebs wasn't being kind to me beforehand to find out some extra information. But it is a pretty cool watch. Super excited to have it. And I will stop sharing my screen.
That's sharp. I like it.
One thing we know about Zara, he got little feet. Inside joke for those listening. So,
how old is that watch, Casey? What was the year on that?
It is September of 71.
Nice.
alrighty then.
Alrighty. Speaking of 1971, I'll go. Let's see here. Alrighty, that come up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great. So I am wearing, I'll just show it to you right there.
Very
Little
nice.
automatic chronograph. It is a 6139. So it's part of that family that I showed last week. So it's considered part of the Bruce Lee family. Automatic chronograph from May 1971. The dial is metallic blue with sunburst finish with orange chrono hands and the resist dial. So the 70 resist, which unfortunately in this photo I have it covered up, is only seen on the earlier variants. But for Kevin's benefit, I do have the original stainless steel bracelet.
Love it.
So I like that bracelet. I think that bracelet was freaking hot.
Yeah, it is.
Matt?
So
All right. So for tonight, I got something that's not new, but I've had it a while, but I've never shown it before. And it is a Citizen. You know, I've always liked these Echo Drives. So this is a Citizen Calendrier. It's a moon phase. It's, you know, model BU0054-52L. It's got the 8730 Echo Drive movement in it. And it's just a cool watch, man. It's not expensive. It's not fancy, but, you know, it's got the stainless and gold tones going on, blue face. You know, and I just like the moon phase. The moon phase little aspect of it's kind of cool. So that's it. I mean, not a whole lot special about it. You know, the good thing about these Citizens being that they're solar with the Echo Drive, I mean, you pick them up for $300-400 and it looks great and everyone compliments it and it's not a lot of money. So you can just rack them up.
The blue face looks good with the gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two-tone's coming back too, so it's got good vibes.
And everyone knows I'm
it.
a gold fan. I like the gold. So.
I dig it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, today I take my watches off, but I'm wearing a Seiko 5 Sports Regatta. It's a diver watch.
I love that one. Yeah.
I love it too.
In fact, it's model number 6119-6050, made in February of 1969. So I wore this watch.
Very fitting for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. I wore it at a rally that we went to, and the guy, actually two people at the lobby, said, "Hey, nice watch." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And they're like, "What year?" I told him, "Yeah, it's a 1969 Regatta." And the guy goes, "Have you had it since new?" And I looked at him like, And he goes, "Oh, wait a second. You're not that old." I'm like, even if I was, was I going to have it when I was one?
Exactly.
So, that was pretty fun. But I get a lot of compliments on the watch. I'm actually going to probably stop wearing it a little bit.
Great one.
Today I noticed, at work and stuff and moving around boxes and stuff, the dial's getting a little banged up because
you're giving it history, buddy.
Yeah. That's called patina, my friend. I know you're new to that concept, but it's called patina.
By the way, I do have the original band on this one too.
And that one has the inner rotating and outer rotating bezel, correct?
It does, yes.
Yeah, that's super cool.
It's like a fucking Rubik's Cube, man.
Yeah, yes. I love all the color on it.
The color's killer, and I mean that's the one that you don't have to see up close to say that you want it because you see that color in the shape, right? And you're just you gravitate towards it. So yeah, nice watch.
I think that's the oldest one that I think is probably the oldest watch that I have is 69.
Well, and the redo they did of that looked nothing like that. I mean, it had the colors, but on that, it's terrible. It's not. It looks something you get from a Dave and Buster's arcade, ticket game.
Sometimes when you update your watch, it doesn't come out too well, and that's one of them that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, and I think looking at the Seiko catalogs, not a lot of watches before 69 really had much color and variance in them, period. That's when Seiko really started kind of to wake up to that stuff and really start designing some cool ass stuff. In my opinion.
So I think that's because it came out with the 6138 and stuff like that. So yeah, I agree.
That's cool. So we have a cool idea tonight. We decided to go ahead and kind of go over our, top 5 cars of all time. There was no set parameters. Just whatever, for whatever reason, we felt what top 5 cars we gravitated towards that would be in our bucket list. But before we jump into that topic, Kevin and James were fortunate enough to go to a really cool rally over the weekend that Casey and I, one, can't go to, but two, we can't go to because we don't have an air-cooled Porsche. We're not in the fun crowd. So, guys, tell us a little bit about Gator Crawl because I've never been, and I thought just from your photos, it freaking looked like an awesome time.
Go ahead,
it was. This was my 3rd Gator Crawl, and it's a good one. The crowd is fairly small. It's not a huge rally. It's in old part of Florida. The roads, they're Florida roads, but they're really beautiful. Horse country, a little bit like Lexington, Casey, and all the horse farms and such.
Minus the rolling hills.
But it's really beautiful. Yeah, less the rolling hills. But the weather was great. Kevin joined us, which was really cool for his first air-cooled rally. And we just had a good time. And, I hope Kevin did as well. But, those roads are pretty good for going fast within reason.
Well, he's from North Carolina. So for me, I drive those roads actually almost every weekend going to St. Augustine. A lot of the roads that we took were back roads instead of me getting on the freeway. I typically find that I can get to St. Augustine a lot faster taking those back roads because there's no traffic in them. There were some of them that I wouldn't have gone through because they were dirt roads, and actually I'm not going to go that route. But we actually we were in 15 minutes away from one of the stops was 15 minutes of my town that I live in. We actually drove through my town a little bit, and then we stopped at a place in Dade City, which is where my daughter frequents a lot. And so
it was cool.
I felt like, I'm at home. So it was.
Did that feel weird for you, Kevin?
It did feel weird because literally we drove by my parents' subdivision over some railroad tracks and stuff, and then we made that right, and I was like, oh, that's my mom and dad lives there, and then I just take that way a lot. I personally liked the hotel in the
beautiful
place that we were at. I thought it was really cool. It's called the Mission Inn. It was built in the 1930s. Known for golf, and the food was excellent. It was really, I felt like I was talking about this yesterday to some other people. I felt like I was in almost like the Ritz as far as how, I mean, not, the Ritz is new, but the place was really cool. The food was good. It's a fancier hotel.
I think Keith did a great job this year, him and his family putting it together. I thought the routes were cool. We were a little busy on Friday, which, no one can control that. Saturday was fantastic. We had a blast. Wrong turns and all didn't really matter. That's
Nice.
Part of the charm, I guess, is getting lost. Right? So you have routes, but do you follow them? Sometimes you don't. And, the roads were, the challenging part of the roads they were pretty rough. So I cracked my windshield with some debris got thrown up onto the front of the car, which, just like Kevin's watches, I'm just gathering more patina on my car.
There you go.
But,
I almost crashed the party because I'm not too far from there. And I'm like, I'm going to go freaking just crash and say hi to the guys, but I didn't. So,
yeah. Well, Saturday, the venue for Saturday where we had kind of our dinner was super cool. It was on the water. And it was just a unique place. So I really enjoyed it this year. And what I like about it is, that there's quite a few more rallies this year. And it just seems like not everyone goes to that, just maybe because of the roads. But, we go for the people, and we've made some really good
How many
friends out of
cars is it?
I think there
there were 33 or 35.
Nice.
So
you can legit like talk to everybody and kind of get to know everybody, really.
Kind of. It wasn't, half of it was BMWs. So that was the only thing was BMWs. They're very old BMWs, 2002s. And they had a Z.
E9s.
What was it, Z? Yeah,
I saw that in James'
E9.
video, and I was like, man, is this like a air cool and BMW thing? Because I saw the BMWs in the parking lot and when getting ice cream and stuff. So
yeah. So and naturally, they can't really run with Porsche suspension and I think speed and stuff. But I don't know. Maybe they can. I never had a old BMW, but they were.
Could if they wanted.
Yeah, and the crowd was that particular crowd. They were a lot of nice BMWs, so they weren't getting after it. Were me, James, and our group and Dave. We were, getting after it. I kind of actually started hanging back a little bit, just because I had a freshly painted car, and
this car's too nice for this rally.
The other thing too is I felt a little guilty because I drive those roads all the time, so I was like, man,
dude, what did I fucking tell you though? You did that refresh, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna go on a rally and not want to drive this fucking thing.
Yeah. So
guess what?
Yeah. So
funny rip tits.
Well,
I noticed those roads when James put up that video. I noticed those roads, and that's the same road. I was on a rally up on that same road that James filmed, and I had the 911. Me and Stacy, we had it going, upper triple digits. And I was like, I was excited. It was the very first rally I'd ever been on. And I'm like white knuckling it, like, oh my God, I'm doing, I don't know, like 130, 140, and all of a sudden this McLaren 720 just goes past me like I'm standing still. And I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm just backing down, so.
There's always somebody bigger, huh?
Always someone bigger and better,
So, Kevin, did that kind of get the juices flowing as like, yeah, I need to be doing more of these?
Well, yeah, 100%, because I probably haven't talked about it, have I?
You have not. No, you not.
We can
Not
save
in a
it for
public
next
forum.
week if you'd like to.
No.
Not in a
So,
public forum.
no, it's fine. So, because the car, it was freshly done and the seats are like almost like a very light gray, super light gray. And everyone knew the car, like, as you know, there's only like 190 of that color and that model. I think there's only 400 or so built. I felt, man, I don't want to mess this car up. And, they did such a good job doing it. So I'm actually getting another 911 SC, actually Carrera 1985, that one of our friends, he is done it for rallies. So it's got a lot of patina on it. It's got nice seats, nice carpet. It's got AC.
It's dialed in.
Yeah, it's dialed in. So, and I'm not going to I know the car. He's been on rallies with us before. He drives the shit out of it. So we worked up a deal. My wife's going to just give me the money for this car, and she's going to drive the Weissach. So, I mean, it's all the same family, but it's a way that I could, sell it.
For the listening
justify
audience,
it in
take
your
note of
mind.
that.
Yeah. What do you
Listening
say, Matt?
audience,
Get your wife to buy the car that you just bought. So
right,
you can get another.
Listening audience, take note of that. If you want another car, you sell your current car to your wife. That is
And
happy
Casey was like,
Valentine's
how does
Day.
this even work? Because isn't it the same money? I was like, yeah, well, I mean, it
Yeah,
is.
I just think it's badass that Erin will even go out and enjoy that car. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, she knows how to drive stick. She loves driving. It's
a looker. It's a looker too. So,
and it's loud.
She'll be.
Everybody loved the exhaust that I put on. I mean, it's.
Yes.
I'm not even going to take the cat off, James.
Everybody. It was pretty funny because Kevin started his car, and then it was just like Frankenstein. Everybody turns around and starts like they were zombies. Not as Frankenstein, more like zombies, and it was like, oh, and they all start walking over to the car.
Like, they were asking me, what is that? It's a 3.0, but is it a 3.2? Is it a 3.4? One guy's, is that a 3.6 or 3.8? I'm like, nope, it's just stock motor. But I didn't build it. One of my guys, I always like to give him props. He's an employee of mine. He's a phenomenal fabricator. He built an exhaust for me, and I'm going to start selling the exhaust because it sounded so good. So many people were like, one of the guys wanted me to take his car to my shop and unbolt it and throw it on his car. So I was like, okay.
Really? You didn't
yeah,
tell me that. That's funny.
Yeah, Melvin was like, hey,
that's awesome.
Can I go up to your shop? And I'm like, it's only 4 bolts, man. You can do it. And he's like, yeah, I'm not mechanically inclined. And then I looked underneath his car, and he didn't have
Marvin.
He didn't have an AC bracket. I don't think that I have. So we bolted it. So we've made some revisions so it actually bolts to the motor mount. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, I did pick up the for the latch for the back rear deck lid. So am I the first purchase of these Porsche parts? Please.
Yes,
just
you
say
are.
yes.
No, you are.
Serial number 001.
I didn't know. I didn't give a shit what you were selling. I was just going to buy it so I could be the first.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more coming, but I just I haven't released them all. So for the audience, because of this Porsche thing, some of you guys have heard. I actually manufacture Honda Ruckus and Honda Ground parts, and I have a CNC machine shop and a fab shop. So that's what I do for a living. But I have another company as well that I started in 2002, and it was supposed to be just T-shirts, but now 2000 was COVID, and it kind of just laxed, and I didn't go to these car shows. 2020. I got into these Porsches, and I had them before, but I'm starting to make some Porsche parts, so quite a few of them. So we'll see.
We're going to have some fun, is what you're saying.
Yes.
So here's the big difference, not to just ramble on about the rally.
Let's ramble, man. Let's ramble.
Because there was really 2 sects in this rally, right? There was kind of the BMW crowd, and then there was this Porsche crowd. And what was really interesting is the BMWs were very, very original. And then the Porsches were 100% personalized. I didn't see a stock anything.
No, there was the
Porsche
RS,
side.
the mint green RS Carrera was like.
Yeah, I stand corrected.
But that's
I
a
tell you
special
what,
edition. Yeah.
that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
special car.
Yeah.
That was a special car, and you don't touch that. But
Right.
You personalize that, you're taking
everybody's
dollar signs off of it.
personality, yeah, everybody's personality was oozing from those cars.
Mhm.
You know, and on the Porsche side, I didn't see anybody picking up a rag and wiping their car down. You
There was
just
a guy,
cleaned your
right? What was
windshield,
that?
started your car, and got on with your business.
I mean, there was a guy at 10 o'clock at night. I went to drop something off or get my jacket. And there's a guy at 10 at night wiping his BMW down.
Not there's
And I
anything wrong with that. I'm
No.
not going to say this. You know what I mean? It's like
I'm
if
going
you
to
have
say
an
that. I'm going to
original-
be the Casey and say there is something. You're at a fucking rally and you're wiping at 10 in the morning when it's due. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
come on.
Well, listen, so I will say this. Before I got into Porsche, and well, I was always into Porsche, but before I had the funds and availability to get a Porsche, I was always in other type of cars that it was more of like a meet scene, you didn't do rallies,
Excuse
you went to car meets and all that,
Oh,
so
okay.
I
You do
was
a
that
meat
guy.
delivery.
Yeah, meat delivery. Yeah. So no, but I was that guy, man. You go, you wipe your car. You always wanted to look good, for Cars and Coffee or whatever else. And so I remember my very first rally, wiping it down, and I quickly learned that fuck it, you just drive. Don't even worry about it. So
Right.
now I don't.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the last fairing we went to, I didn't even take detailer or anything with me. I took nothing. So
Really, it took Dave and I 8 hours to get there, right?
Mhm.
And there's no doubt my car was easily the dirtiest car in the whole place. I didn't do a thing. I just wiped the windshield down and drove it.
Yep.
So we had a
Very
good
cool.
time.
Good.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
glad you had a good time.
And I got a new camera, so I was able to film a lot, and we'll wind up sharing some of those clips, I think.
We'll put them on our
When
YouTube.
you remember
once
to
James is
hit
done
the-
editing everything.
When you remember to
Yeah.
hit the shutter button.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
this
actually
was
like that
my,
camera though.
Oh, it is unbelievable. But it was my first run, get used to it for this rally since I have a bunch more, including Texas coming up. So I like to have the ability to get it dialed in as well. But what's really cool is it's stuck to the windshield and it's voice activated. So I can say start recording and it starts.
That's nice.
It's
Yeah,
just
That's
stick his
actually
head
really
out the
nice.
window, go start recording, going 120.
I love it. That's a trip.
Anyway, on
So,
to the next one.
On to tonight's topic. So, like I said, we thought about this thing, and I'll give full credit where credit's due. I love Matt Farah and the Smoking Tire podcast. Him and Zach have started doing this thing, top 5 or whatever, and just have a topic. And I'm not stealing the idea, but I'm stealing the idea. But I thought it was a cool thing to do. They're doing more specialized stuff, and I thought, well, what would our top 5 cars of all time be? And again, this is not the best cars. I'm not an expert. These are just cars that
Mine
talk to
are.
us. What's Matt's top 5 cars that if I was fortunate enough to own would be, and same thing for the guys. So this is complete subject to my taste, and y'all's taste. So
Which is quite
who
poor.
wants? Well, no, I think you're
I'm
going to
just
actually
fucking with
like
you.
my list. Listen, I have been trailer trash in my past, but I'm trying to outgrow that.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
that's reasonable. That's reasonable.
Right, man.
So who wants to start?
How about you, Matt?
You go ahead.
Okay,
You go ahead,
I'll
Matt.
start. I will start. So listen, these are not in any
Let's see
specific
this
order.
El Camino you got on here.
This trailer trash. Come on.
Fuck, you let it go, man. You gave away. So no, I have these are not in any specific order.
Well, they should
just-
be.
No, they're not.
Vegas
they're not,
first. The Vegas coming up here.
Yeah, not in any specific
Are
order.
any of the cars the same color
No.
throughout? Not different color panels?
All right.
Okay.
First car.
That's actually my wife's favorite car.
See, well, again, this is not my favorite car. This is just one of 5. All right,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
listen, I'm sorry. 1967 Shelby Cobra 427. All right. How can you? I mean, it's okay. I love British cars. I always love. So here you're getting American muscle. You're getting a British body. an American coach built car for all intents and purposes. I mean, what's not more American than taking a beautiful British car and shoving a 7-liter V8 in it?
You mean there isn't anything more boomer?
Well,
That's
maybe.
true.
Listen,
So,
these cars are
have
freaking.
Have
awesome.
you ever ridden in one of these or driven one?
I have ridden and driven one.
Scary.
Yes.
Did you
And
like
they are
it?
scary. No,
Did you like
I
it?
did like it. Now I will say this is a real one. Of course, no
sure.
one, 1.4 million for an original one. No, that's not going to happen. But I would get a super performance
Yes, there you go.
replica or a factory 5.
So I knew a guy
yeah.
that went from a Miata into this for tracking, and he hated it. He kept it it was a factory 5. He kept it for maybe 4 or 5 months, couple track days, and that was it.
Did he have the big motor in it?
Yeah, he had a big old engine in it. Now, mind you, we all tracked our Miata, so the smell of gasoline and oil was normal for us, but he couldn't stand that this was over the top in all that goodness to where he couldn't drive it to work if he wanted to or whatever. He's an accountant. So he just couldn't do the normal everyday stuff. But he really didn't enjoy it. It was a quick sell for him.
No,
yeah, and I've heard that actually the smaller motor's a better motor for that car.
Exactly. That's what I was just about to say. Yep. So for this is a 427. So this has the 7-liter, 427 side oiler in it, 425 horsepower. Really, if you're going to track it, the 289 is the better model. So smaller engine, not so crazy. But this thing right here,
though, right? Those back ends snap.
Yeah, it's 425 horsepower, and the car weighs 2,300 pounds. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. The power to weight ratio is off the charts of these things.
Well, we know that 10-to-1 ish ratio is kind of like the holy grail, or was for a long time, of horsepower to weight. And this was flirting right on there. But that rear end, just with nothing back there, made them super. At the edge, hard to control.
This is a straight up widowmaker. I mean, this is a car that, if you're going to go through and, if I owned one of these, it'd be like a weekend tooling around car. I mean, I personally wouldn't take this to the track because I would absolutely kill it myself. So, but it would still be a fun ride. So, cool. All right, next car. All right, right here.
Of course.
1992 McLaren F1. I'm not a massive fan of some of the newer McLarens. I mean, they're great for what they are, but in the 90s, man, this was it. I mean, I loved everything about this car back in the 90s. The center seat, where we're sitting dead center, and the back seats where that flanked you on the left and the right. I mean, this thing was just phenomenal. Came with 6.1 liter BMW V12 motor. 618 horsepower. It was just the epitome of what a sports car was in the 90s, in my opinion.
Agree.
It's a looker.
It's super, super unique, super rare. And that center seat is tits. So I like it.
Look at that. He said tits. He copied me from last week. I love it. It's our new favorite word. All right.
Don't tag me on that.
Oh, okay. No worries. Number 3. Number 3 for me right here, 1994 964 Turbo. So, again, I'm a big movies buff. My whole family loves movies.
I was just going to say.
I know what you're going to say, right? And yes, I did pick 2 cars from the Bad Boys movie.
I was just going to start singing "Bad Boys,
Bad Boys, Bad Boys." What you going to do? But both cars spoke to me before I saw the movie. When I saw the movie, I'm like, oh, this is great. 2 of my favorite cars in this movie. So, I mean, in the 90s, the 964 Turbo was just phenomenal. 3.6 liter. It's got the M64 engine in it, 355 horsepower. This car, this could be the only 911 I ever owned, and I would be a happy man. So it's just a beautiful car, man. It's just absolutely, everything about it's just absolutely phenomenal.
I think that's a great point. I think that's a car that if you had right now, you could drive that every day.
Sure, you could.
If you wanted to.
Well, I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and they were talking about that, that's a great thing about a Porsche versus other makes and models, is that you have that everyday drivability to the vehicle that a lot of, super exotic sports cars don't. So some of the other, some of the rare, like this right here can be, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 because they're so rare and so few were made. But again, it has that drivability to it that, a lot of the high-end sports cars don't.
It's definitely a step up from the G Body.
Yep, absolutely.
As far as drivability, being modern.
Yep, no doubt. And it's not that I don't like the 993s. The 964s, go through and they speak to me more. Yeah, they speak to me more. Yeah. So, and that's why I like the 997, has a lot more visual cues of the 964 than it does the 993.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point. I'm not a huge fan of the 993. I think they're great cars, and there's so many people that love them.
Yep.
But it doesn't give me that classic feel like you're saying.
Not at all. All right. So fourth on my list right here, again, dude. So when I was coming up,
Ford Taurus. Excellent.
Yeah. No, when I was coming up, listen, so my James Bond was Pierce Brosnan.
That's right. Goldeneye.
Yep. Pierce Brosnan. And so, he had 2002 Aston Martin V12 Vanquish. I loved this car. It just always spoke to me. I thought it was very cool. 5.9 liter V12, putting out 460 horsepower. It was just, Astons may not be overly reliable, but what they lack in reliability, they make up in style and just sheer beauty. So I think they just have a timeless look to them. And again, my list, this was difficult for me. It really was. I told the guys, I had like 45 cars on my list and I had to narrow it down.
Really?
I legitimately did. And I had to narrow it down to 5.
Did you follow any of the videos by like Tavares or Doug DeMuro on this car?
No. I know. I think Tavares owns does he own a Vanquish?
I don't know.
I thought he had a Vantage, or I thought he maybe owned a DB9 or a Vantage.
That might be right.
Yeah.
For being a bargain at this point, is that what you're saying, Casey?
Yeah.
Well, they are a bargain. I mean, you can pick these up right now. I was looking when I was doing my getting photos. I mean, you pick these up for $50,000.
Yeah, because you got to drop the engine to change the alternator.
Well, exactly. Well, and Stacy loves not necessarily the Vanquish. She likes the DB9. And DB9s are fairly affordable as well, but I'm like, listen, not for no.
And I think this car, it's beautiful, but I also think some of those lines show its age or its time.
Sure.
I agree, James. I love this car, the look of it, but for me, it's too GT. It's too touring for me. It would maybe be like a 12th or 13th or 15th car for me.
Sure. Well, thank goodness it's not your list, Casey.
Well, why don't you shut it? But I do love it.
Oh, listen, I had the DB5 on there, and I'm like, no. So, and then lastly, but not leastly, I'm a JDM guy. I've always been a JDM guy. I will always be a JDM guy. So, wait, who wants to guess? Anyone want to guess?
Type R.
A Supra.
Supra. I'm going with Supra.
You're all wrong.
Celica.
Lexus LFA, the greatest car that never sold.
Yeah.
Such a shame, man. I mean, this was only made for 2 years. It's such a phenomenal sports car. It's absolutely just amazing what Toyota did with this car.
Not phenomenal enough for you to go buy it, huh?
Well, I couldn't afford
so high
it, man.
Price back then.
Yeah,
that's why nobody bought them
they haven't lost their value. They've gone up.
No.
I mean, they've gone through the roof. They only did it for 2 years.
What were they, 225 when they came out? And that's not a very Lexus number.
Yeah. I mean, it's 4.8 liter V10, 563 horsepower. I've never been fortunate enough to drive one. I have seen one in person, but never had a chance to drive it. Never probably will I ever have the opportunity to drive one, but they are just, amazing.
Have you read about them? Do they have like Toyota reliability?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I've read, watched a lot of videos, read a lot about them. I mean, they're just reliable. You could get in this thing and drive it every single day.
Yeah, you could legit put miles on this and not have to worry.
I backed into one and I left the guy a note saying, "Nice car." and then went on my way.
So that's my top 5.
Well, can I go second? Because I
Please.
am kind of along the lines of Matt.
All right,
Oh, really?
let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So let's see here. Let me share here. Screen.
But I told you guys my list was very eclectic.
I liked it. I like it.
No, I thought
Okay,
it was good.
So let's see
The last
here.
one was a surprise, Matt.
Yep.
Mine's gonna be. Let's see. Mueller.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
I love
mean,
it.
Same kind of concept. Movies, like, this was a car. I watched this movie when I was a kid, and the guy jumping out of the parking garage with his car, and still remember the car.
The valet guys.
Yeah, the valet guys, with the long hair. Looked like Danny Trejo, kind of.
Yes.
So love the car. Still remember it. It's so iconic. I think this car sold for probably, $16 million. I don't know, maybe more. This is the actual car. Love the car. So it's a 1961 Ferrari 250 GT California.
Mhm.
They didn't make a lot of these cars. So
Would you wipe it with a diaper?
no, I would not. No, I would. I would. I don't know. I just love the car. So next one is, let me see if I can zoom in.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Okay.
Very nice.
So for those of you guys just listening on Spotify, it's a Porsche 911 GT1 Sorasen version, 1996, 600 horsepower, 3.2 twin turbo, flat 6. I love this car because it does not look like a Porsche, other than kind of this GT Carrera a little bit.
Headlights.
Yeah. But you can see that 911 in the driver's windows into the slope to the back,
The
like
door.
they bolted. I don't want to say bolted because it's a gorgeous car, but you can see it's almost like they took this 911 and start adding clay to it to mold it. It's pretty
But
wild.
it looks very similar to a Noble. I mean, matter of fact, before he blew it up in the little photo, I said, "Oh, Kevin picked a Noble," and then when he blew it up, I knew it was a Porsche.
Yeah, and they built this car because they lost in Le Mans. So, and the next year when this car came out in 1996, they won first and second. Again, this car is pretty expensive, but I never owned one. But
Start cracking on those Porsche parts.
Yes.
That's it, man.
For eternity.
Next car. Yeah. Okay, this is kind of the lines of...
Nice.
Yes, this is the lines of Matt.
Yes.
Italian styling with a 351 Cleveland, which I've almost bought one of these cars. And I may still one day buy one of these Pantera Di Tomaso GT5S. I just love this car.
See them.
You don't see them. They sound phenomenal, and the great thing is I can go to AutoZone and buy parts for the engine. So they're not the best interior, I know, but the tires. In fact, I was at Players car show, I think I want to say 2019 in England, which is at Goodwood. And this car won best of show. They slammed it, put big wheels on it. It was, they go crazy over anything American. I mean, there was a crowd over a piece of junk 1956 Chevy 3100 truck. I actually sent the guy over a cooler for his truck because I had, I used to be in the hot rods, and I said, you're missing the American cooler. I think it was a Squirt or something like that I had, and he didn't believe I was going to send it to him, but I did, because it's car culture. You meet people, and I sent him this cooler, and it probably cost me $200 to send this cooler to him, but I didn't need it. And but I love this car, and I love it in black. That's my favorite color.
It is unfortunate that the Americans did such a shitty job in the 70s, 80s designing interiors. I feel like the European cars are so much better. Japanese cars are kind of in the middle. I feel that the interiors are just so out of date, like just so bad.
Yeah, and this one looks like they're using like push button screws, with leather wrapped around plywood. I mean, it's just
it's really bad.
Back in the day, You didn't know.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah,
It
it was the
just
shit back
was
then.
cool. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah, so
It's
they
like,
made this car in the late 70s to early 80s. So, yeah. So next
Hey,
car.
I had a picture of it. I had the poster of the Pantera on my wall. It was black. The Pantera was on my 45 car list. It just didn't make the 5-car cut. So
nice.
All right, next car. Let's see what this one's going to be. Ah, here you go.
ooh, there you go.
Is that a Hot Wheel?
Yeah.
No, this is a it's
Yeah.
this is the Pagani Huayra R 850 horsepower V12 naturally aspirated.
Mhm.
I like anything Pagani just because if being someone who machines parts and design parts, if you ever even seen, it's very skeletonized. The shifter, you can see everything. You can
It's
see.
like the Richard Mille of cars.
Yes,
Sure.
exactly.
Yeah,
I've
that's
never
a good
seen
one.
this. Yes, I've never seen the inside of this car. But I picked something that it was pretty rare. If hey, it's going to be cars. There's only 30 of them made, and they were $2.6 million when they came out, and I'm sure there are a lot more than that now. But I just love the styling. I love everything about this car. So, and I'm sure
Gorgeous,
it handles
man.
like rails.
Absolutely gorgeous.
So
It's cool.
my next car, it's not a car.
To watch.
No, it is a Unicat MD56C. So this car or this utilitarian vehicle has full kitchen, water supply, full roof rack of solar panels. It can
It's
go
your
off the
zombie
grid.
car.
Yes, for 2 weeks you can go off the grid with this thing. A
Nice.
6x6. If you guys, for the Spotify listeners, I would highly recommend you actually, take a look and Google this car again, the Unicat MD56C. It's just a beast. The one thing I will say is, I do off road. I have a Toyota 4Runner, TRD Pro. I don't think you're gonna get over any, I guess, hard.
You're not rock
Stuck.
crawling in this thing.
No, you're not,
Yeah.
because it does have a low bumper on it. It probably can get out of the
High center
mud.
too. High center of
Yes.
gravity. That thing would tip over.
I was actually going to pick, instead of this car, was going to be a deuce and a half that was going to be bobbed. So they take the back wheels, because it's a deuce and a half is a military vehicle, 6x6, but they cut off the wheel and they put a like a utility trailer on the back. Because I've seen those living in Florida. We have mud bogs here, and I've seen them stuck where nothing can get out. But the deuce and a half, it might have took it 10 minutes, but it got out of the mud. But I like this car, and the interior looks like something from IKEA. It's pretty good. It's a German car, so it's pretty cool car.
Nice.
Probably goes 60 miles per hour, but
Mhm.
And drink 14 gallons doing it.
Oh, you're being generous. I would say 7 gallons.
yeah, that's what I would think too. So
Yeah.
those
7 gallons a mile.
are my cars, guys.
I love
let's
it,
see
man.
how-
Good list.
Yes, let me stop sharing here.
James, are you up next?
You could go, Casey. That's fine. You know
All right.
why? Because all of my cars are before you were born.
All right, great. I want to start with what I'm drinking tonight. Drinking some Uncle Nearest 1856 rather.
Very nice.
Interesting whiskey out of Tennessee's kind of got that Tennessee kick to it. But it's relatively new. It's I believe, don't hold, facts are optional, but I believe it's one of the first or only African American only owned whiskeys in the country. But anyhow, it's a really good whiskey. It's different than the Kentucky bourbons that I drink. And I found it on the shelf one day, said, what the hell? And I think it's pretty damn good.
What's the
Sweet.
proof?
This one's 100 proof.
Okay.
So it's right in my wheelhouse of easy sipper.
What notes do you pick up on it?
This one, all right. So, I'm not that great as picking specific things out, but when I look up tasting notes, they're dead on. Like a nougat of in a candy bar. If you've ever had just like the nougat, that's definitely in there. There's like marzipan. Have you had that flavor?
Yes.
Or that candy? That's definitely in there. And creme brulee, I think that's a common flavor that everybody would know. And then this one actually calls for a touch of coconut, and I think that you can taste that too.
That's
as
cool.
odd as that is, but it's different than regular like Kentucky bourbon home run flavors. It's different than that, and
So
I think
since
it's worth checking out.
100 proof, does it go smooth all the way? Does it have a kick in the front or the kick in the back?
It's this one. This one doesn't have a kick to me.
Okay.
It's an easy sipper,
Okay.
and I think that's because of the filtering. But I think it's good. It's different. It's not expensive. And if you wanted to try something different, not Kentucky bourbon, I think this is a good one to try.
Sweet.
Nice.
Cool.
So, your cars?
Hit us with some cars, Casey.
Let's go. All right. First, nope, let's not do that one. These are in reverse order. I think we'll start with a classic.
There you go. Eleanor.
Thank you.
Another movie car?
Do what?
Matt said he had it on his list, and I said it, another movie car.
There you go. Yeah, I added it because you all, or not added it, but I thought I'd start with it because you all had movie cars. But one of my favorite.
I would say Bullet.
Well, you say
Eleanor.
Bullet.
I would say Bullet.
Sure. Yeah,
that's because you're old, James.
Gone in 60 seconds. The funny story, I actually bought that movie and bought the old one and didn't know what the hell I was watching once. But I do like the original. The Nicolas Cage version is pretty good too. But it's a good car, and I think it's different. And I think I'd love to have that.
Fastback is hot.
It is.
It's a great car.
Very hot.
That's the only classic, though.
That should have been on my list.
Having had a classic Buick, classic American, I had a '64 Buick Skylark at one point. One of my first cars. Great car, very cool. But man, anymore, I don't know. It's just almost too classic for what for me to enjoy.
There were no discussions of panel gaps back then.
That's absolutely true. Yeah. So, all right. So my next one is another car that goes very similar to what Matt and Kevin have put out. But
nice.
An RX-7 FD.
FD RX-7, yeah.
Turbo model, of course. This is during the days when Japan kind of had the horsepower wars, but weren't publicizing them, right? Everything had to have under 279 or whatever their number was. But this car, I think, is phenomenal. I've driven a couple. I know the rotary engine is well loved by few and hated by many, but I think it's a phenomenal car. It still looks so damn good, in my opinion. And the interior, while a bit dated, I think with some tender care, it can still look somewhat good. But super cool car.
And a movie car.
Nice. And
movie car.
When I was a kid,
or what is that movie?
Fast and
Furious.
Thank you.
Yeah. When I was a kid, Casey, I first generation RX-7 was always, and that was a tiny car.
Yeah, it was.
This car is definitely bigger.
Definitely bigger, but still small. I mean, I think they look bigger than
Compared
they actually
to today?
feel
Absolutely.
inside. Yeah. All right, so
Nice.
number 3. Let's see, which one do I want to show you? Number 3, we'll go a little wild, and we'll go with this.
Ooh,
F40.
F40, yep.
I mean, panel gaps don't matter again on this vehicle. The interior looks like, a child put it together, but the sound and the drive of it. I've only seen one in real life. Weirdly enough, I saw it at a sushi restaurant in Lexington, Kentucky. But I would harm many people to be able to own one of these. Super cool car.
I love the back window with the plexi.
Yep.
The motor.
Yep.
Super sharp. Cool.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that plexi actually, how people, I guess, grade that car is they turn yellow. So
absolutely.
If you have a clear
one.
It's
OG, yeah.
Yeah, if you have a clear one, I've been to a car collection in Miami, and the guy had like 3 of them there, and it was cool to see all 3 of them parked next to each other, because you could definitely see which one was older and had been sitting out and stuff like that. And it was pretty neat. I mean, he had a whole bunch of other cars, Ferraris too. He's a big Ferrari collector, so it was pretty.
That's
pretty
cool, man.
Pretty cool. And
Is that
then
5?
this one, nope,
Oh.
not
Yep,
yet.
got one more.
I got 2 more. Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, 2 more. Sorry.
But this one goes along with the one that Kevin just showed. Sherpa.
Ah, yes.
These things are
Oh
freaking
my
cool.
goodness! Yep.
I would love one, and it's somewhat obtainium. Brand new, they're a little ridiculous, but I've seen a couple sold, and they're not. I mean, they're expensive, but they're sub $100,000, and I think that maybe one day if I can get my land up to where it needs to be, this might be something I need to add to it. I mean, they can float.
Yeah.
They go through anything and everything. Climb up a hillside. I mean, I think they're freaking cool.
Don't they drive like
You
a
know,
tank? Like it's got the levers. You drive like a tank.
Yes.
You know how you get one of those? You sell the side to Asphalt Killers. Let them sponsor it.
There you go. I think I'll have to sell a lot of sides to be able to get that. All right, and then the last one. I'm using this almost as a placeholder for many different versions, but the 911.
Of course.
This is obviously mine, which is a dream car of mine. That's me. That's a little of me. But I'm having the engine built, so it's kind of my version of a GT3. But could I see a GT3 here? Yeah, a GT2, absolutely. You can substitute in several different models to take.
Is there a generation for your GT3? Is there a generation that you?
Oh, I mean, ideally, I would do 997 in my opinion. GT3. I think
because
that
of the Metzger motor.
Yeah, and size and proportions, I think are right there. Power wise, I think it's getting into the realm of where it needs to be. I think the 996 GT3 is a little underpowered. Again, if we're speaking hypothetically in a dream world, but would I take a 996 GT3? Absolutely. I love the 99. I meant 996 GT3, but I'd love like a 993 GT2 or an RSR. Like, I mean, there's any number that I could have put in there, but I just use my car as a placeholder because for me it is a dream car, and that's one that has come true. So
hey Casey, don't take this as a slam because it's not, but it's been so long since I've seen your car. I forgot that you had a GT3 wing on the back.
Yeah, me too.
Because Casey and I both have 997s, and I'm wingless. I don't have a wing. I would like a wing, but I don't have one. And so I always forget that he's got a GT3 wing on the back of his, and I haven't seen his car.
Well, let's be totally correct. It is the Aero kit.
The Aero kit, yes.
It was factory Aero kit, and so the only difference for the GT3s was they had the center exhaust and then the center third radiator inlet, which I installed a third radiator but kept the stock bumper rather than cutting the smile in. But yeah, I mean, I miss my car too. It's almost been a year. I'm crying daily.
Closer. We're
getting closer.
We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, kind of. So.
I sure hope so. Yeah. So that's my list.
Cool. All right, James, you're up,
Good
buddy.
list. All right. First one. As I said,
that's a movie car too, isn't it?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No. It could be.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, I'm sure
it's probably in
I know
25 movies.
It's in the movie with Charlie Sheen, I believe.
Okay. Well,
Raider or something like that.
Less Than Zero.
Maybe.
Could be.
And also some Jake Gyllenhaal movie where he's a pharmaceutical salesperson. I can't remember the name of that movie, but it's in that too. But anyhow, please go ahead.
So this is a Porsche 911 3.2 Carrera G Body. For me, it's the G Body. And this is what I lusted after when I was a kid, and it had to have the whale tail on it. So, what's kind of funny is I think we all picked 911s except for the guy that just bought 3 911s. So,
no doubt. Yeah.
He's achieved.
Yes. So whale tail for sure. 84 to 89 is a G Body, and 207 horsepower.
So it is the turbo.
Turbo? No,
version.
no, this is not the 207 horsepower.
Okay.
I don't need a turbo. this does
We
me
know,
just
James. We know. You drive fast enough as it is.
fine.
So I got a
it's not that
question.
at all. It's just, yeah, these are, look, I picked cars that I could have owned.
Okay, I have a quick
Where-
question. I don't
yeah,
want to
go
sidetrack
ahead.
us, but okay, because I'm still learning the whole G body thing. So the G body, you had the G body, but then you had the SC within the G body. Was that like a
Yes.
sub? Okay, all right.
It was
Yeah.
first.
Okay,
So G body was 74, I believe. And then there was
Carrera.
your 911, then
Right.
your Carrera, then there was your SC with the
Mhm.
3.0. And then from 84, it was the 3.2 Carrera. So that's
Okay.
what this is.
so they're, but
is
they're
this
on
what-
the whole
is this-
series is considered G bodies. Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming your
Yeah,
car would
including
be,
in 76 when you had the 912. That was a G body as well.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm assuming this one would have not the 915 transmission, since you get to pick any car.
This should be a G50, right?
Right.
Well, if
James?
it's 84, it could still have the
Okay.
915.
Okay.
But in a perfect world, it'd be swapped.
I don't care. No, I don't care. No,
Yeah.
I love my 915. It's when
I
you get it
haven't
right,
driven-
it's super cool.
I haven't driven a 915, so I don't know if it's all that bad. But
Well, you should
well,
come
I would
come
love
drive
to.
it.
Anytime.
Come drive it.
Mm-hmm.
You can
Um,
grind my
so-
gears.
So that's my first one. Second one.
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
I love it.
So this is a Datsun 280Z.
Mhm.
All right, and this was my first car. This is not the photo of my first car, but I was always drawn to the 280 as opposed to the 260 or the 240 because this was kind of the most refined before they went to the ZX. So 6-cylinder, 170 horsepower. It was just the sexiest damn car. You
Mhm.
put the louvers on it. Actually, the photo here, you can see in the back
You
that
can
there's
see 'em,
louvers
yeah.
on the rear. Mine actually had louvers on the sides as well. It was hot.
Here's a
And
fun
that thing
fact.
revs out because it's a straight
Oh,
six, man. It
so much
puts
fun.
them.
When I had
Yeah.
mine, I would drive it all day long, every day at 100 miles an hour, and I never
Mhm.
got a ticket. The second I got out of this car and bought a Honda Civic, I got pulled over left and right. It's the weirdest thing.
I'm watching a new show on HBO. It's not new; it's been out for. I just started watching it called Tokyo Vice, and the detective in
Oh,
there
yeah.
drives a fair lady,
Yeah.
very similar to this.
Yeah.
But I love the JDM versions where
mirrors.
the mirrors are up on the
Yes.
fender.
I
love
agree
it.
with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. But here's the thing about this car is that the metal is like tin foil, and it rusts. You could actually put your fist through it if you had to.
Yeah, if you look
And-
at it, it dents.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think that's really what holds it back because you're not going to find a car that's not rusted. And if it's
Yeah.
not rusted, it's been completely redone and you're going to pay for it.
Mhm.
So, but it doesn't get sexier than this. Next car for me. Oh my God. I love this car.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, there was one of those at the rally, wasn't there?
Yes, there was. So, and we went a little faster than that car. So this is a BMW E30 M3, first generation M3, 86 to 91, S14 motor, 4-cylinder,
Mhm.
And you know
192
what it has
horsepower.
to have? You know what it has to have? It has to have perfectly clear glass. No tint on this car.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be
100%.
fishbowl.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So
Are those come
not all-
14 wheels, 14 or 15-inch wheels?
I believe they were 14s, but maybe
look
for the
like
M3 it was 15s. I'm not sure. But, I've had a number of E30s, just phenomenal cars. And this car, I can still see the commercial in my mind. I just wanted this car bad.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So next, you're going to see a little theme here.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Porsche 944. I don't care. 944S, 944, 944 Turbo, S2. Doesn't matter. Sexy as hell car. You'll
Mhm.
notice that it has the flared fenders, just like the M3. There was something about that just really got me going. And it has the phone dial wheels. Has to have the phone dial wheels. And you need to say, Jake, after every time. You see
Now,
one of
that
these
one,
for...
so a lot of people don't know that what's the really valuable one. Naturally, it would be a 5-speed because a lot of these came in automatic. And then wasn't there something else? I think the different motor,
Like
James?
an S2.
Well, so you had the turbo, right?
Yeah,
And then
But
you
that was
had
a
near the end of the
four-cylinder,
line.
wasn't
Yeah. Yes.
yeah, that was
But
a
then at
4-cylinder.
At the end of the line, I believe there was a 968, was it? I think it was, where it was a little bit different body panels on it. But this
more
is the one
rounded.
that I like. And the older
They did
ones,
make that car in a V8 though, didn't they?
Well, that was 928.
928.
Yes.
Okay.
928 big touring
Oh,
V8.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
it was much
Yep.
softer rear, curved.
Yeah.
Wrong movie, by the way, Kevin. This is 16 Candles.
Oh,
And
yes,
Risky
instead of
Business is
pretty-
928.
Yep.
The odd thing to me about this car, which I now can appreciate, I didn't for a long time, but I can appreciate this car now, is all the freaking weird colored taillights. Like every color under the rainbow is on that rear end, and it's very period, I guess, but all the different colors. I wish that there could be like a smoked version of this taillight or something to kind of, I don't know, make the rear end look a little better.
What I find out weird of these cars is that they have 4 sun visors. They have 2 sun visors up front and 2 in the back.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah, but they have pop-up headlights, dude.
I
They
know.
love
Listen, I love
pop-ups.
these cars.
Love
I just
pop-ups.
find it amazing that these cars were supposed to replace the 911.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
You know,
it's
I mean,
laughable.
you know, so you know,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, they're great cars. I love them. I would own one. But it's
Absolutely.
completely different
Yeah.
than the 911. You know, so I think Porsche was better to keep the 911 and make this. You know,
Yeah.
it was a better company
Yeah.
for it.
And way back when, out of high school, I went right to work full time. And this is a car that is like, yeah, I could almost get this. So it's
Well,
something that was
sure.
obtainable.
And remember, during this time, Porsche was shitting the bed financially. I mean, they were
Yeah.
in a tough spot. This is the mid '90s, early '90s. I mean, they're struggling through here. So
No, this is
82
before
to
that.
91. 82
Yeah.
to 91, this was
91.
available. So
Yep.
161 horsepower at the beginning. And by the end, it was 247 with that turbo. And that
Yeah.
turbo moves. So they made
Probably-
plenty of them.
probably very underrated, like the rest of their cars too.
Yeah. So in 84, it was Car and Driver best handling production car in America.
And
Big deal.
those wheels are so iconic. Like
They
I know
are,
a lot of
yes.
people don't like those wheels, but I think when you think of a Porsche, you think of that wheel and probably a turbo twist.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know
those
what
two
I would
wheels-
do? I would take that phone dial, cut it in half, and make a shelf out of it and put it in my bathroom.
That's a good idea. I
Well,
wonder who's done that.
so, Evan, to your point, the wheels that were not necessarily popular when the car came out have become iconic. So you know these, the turbo twist, the lobster
Yeah.
claw from the 997. Even the lobster claws are iconic
The lobster
now. So
fork.
Fuck those.
Lobster
Yep.
fork.
Those
not
are the
lobster
ugliest fucking wheels. Lobster claws,
claw. Lobster
you
forks.
can get them for $100
lobster
bucks.
forks.
Speaking of
Yeah.
wheels, you know what my favorite wheel is, and everybody's going to make fun of me. Everybody makes fun
Please
of me.
tell me, like 100 spokes.
No,
Yeah.
it's a
E88s.
Renault teddy bear.
Oh, I know
I've seen them. Yes.
Yes.
I don't know
Yeah.
what that is.
Very rare. Very, very rare, for sure.
It's a teddy bear. It looks like a teddy. It's a teddy bear on a wheel. It's
Multi-
I thought you were going to say
RONAO.
I thought you were going to say the VW new
Oh,
Beetle,
Jesus
the
Christ.
Daisy wheels,
Those
No.
are terrible. What are you
the
thinking?
Daisy wheels on the new Beetle.
Now we'll post one of the of
Oh
those
my
on the
God.
Instagram.
Oh
So
yeah.
my god.
Kevin's favorite wheel.
all righty.
All right,
Next
what else
one.
you got, James?
Ooh.
Oh, yes, please.
All right.
God,
So
that was
this
so iconic.
is
Testarossa.
Ferrari Testarossa, 84 to 96, less than 10,000 produced. I'm showing you red, but if you watch Miami Vice, you saw the white one, 12-cylinder mid-engine. I just went through similar era cars, and the highest horsepower was 247, while this is 385. So
And
quite a big
it's
leap.
super wide too. Like people
So
don't realize
Oh,
how
so
wide
wide.
it
and then
is.
what was so cool was the photo I'm sharing shows the mirrors in their most popular spot, but when this first was released, the mirrors were almost on top of the roof.
Exactly. They
And
were way up
stuck
high
way out.
on the
It
Apex.
was
made a
just the
favorite-
coolest thing. I just
Somebody-
remember
Go ahead.
I was
Go ahead.
chugging down the highway. This is like a Matt story. Chugging down the highway, doing 105. I'm like, yeah, towards New York City, and a red Testarossa just came flying by me, and I tried to keep up. Not a chance.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Was that in
They
your
made a
scene?
famous song about that car too. Sir Mix-a-Lot. You probably wouldn't know it, James, but it's called Testarossa.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Well, you know, I put up on our
Did it
Instagram.
come out on cassette, Kevin?
It did come out in cassette.
It did, yes. Well, on our Instagram, many scrolls back, I put up a picture of a Testarossa, and I put a story on there where, you know, as a kid, you know, you always go to the arcades in the 80s.
Was testosterone you posted, Matt.
Yeah, no. So this was the car from Outrun.
It was so
you know?
low you couldn't see it.
Yeah, the video game Outrun, you drove a Testarossa, man, and that's, you know,
absolutely.
I remember being
that was
you know,
killer.
in my teens in the arcades, man, freaking always driving my Testarossa on the
Flipping the
Outrun.
car over.
Yep.
Right.
No doubt.
I just can't believe how wide that tire, that back is. I mean,
they're so wide.
I can't think of another. I mean,
911 turbo.
Yeah,
It's the closest thing I could think of.
I think our memories are skewed. If we saw like a 911 next to this, or especially a current 911 next to this, it's probably the same, if not more wide.
You got to take the same generation, though.
Yeah,
it's on par with the
sure.
Countach, though. The Countach is really, really wide, so it's on par.
I
with
agree
the
with it, but the Countach, you know, it looks like a bunch of Legos snapped together. It's the edges are so hard.
No doubt,
right?
I would take one.
So, all right. Hey, I did 5, but guess what? I got an honorable mention.
Of course.
I got an honorable mention.
You gotta love the 2002.
No, this is an E9, BMW E9.
Dude, it looks like a 2002.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
That was at the rally too, wasn't it, James?
Absolutely. Yeah, there were 2 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But for me, I think this is the most beautiful car. And I think you can stack this up with the Aston Martins. You can stack this up with really any of those Ferraris. It's just really well designed. Proportions are just fantastic. But it's an honorable mention. It didn't make the list for me. And the reason it didn't make the list for me is I wasn't really aware of these when I was looking at sports cars.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So it made it.
I love it. I think it looks good.
Mention.
Yeah.
It's funny, when we were driving, James, in my head, when we were at the rally, I could just, in my head, think of BMW's motto, the ultimate driving machine.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not thinking that when those guys, everyone was driving.
Yeah, but I tell you
what,
it is
a great motto, though.
I wanted to get in that E30 M3 and just let her rip, because that car could have kept up with us all day long.
Even as a 4-cylinder.
Yeah, it would have taken a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
like keep it up.
Keep it
up on the revs.
Our air cools, our air cools are slow to accelerate too. I mean, they're not anything modern, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think those things
yeah,
it's okay. I think those things the Beamers do need a little bit of space to get up and going, but I think they're all pretty stellar cars. I don't know that I would own one, quite honestly, outside of the E30 M3, but hell of a car. But here is the wheel Kevin wants.
There you go.
Not in pink.
What the fuck? I mean, this is Kevin in a nutshell. This is the greatest wheel he's ever seen, and it's a fucking pink teddy bear. Unbelievable.
Dude, it needs to be unbelievable. Round,
come on, it's not pink.
What's those graham cracker bears?
Teddy Grahams.
Teddy Grahams. They need to be Teddy Graham brown.
Unbelievable,
awesome.
Kevin.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Well, by the way, I did get back on the wagon here, so
it is
I
February.
lost 15 pounds in January.
Did you
in
really?
my dry January journey?
Freaking
Yes,
killer,
I did.
man. Good for
That's
you.
awesome, dude.
So this is Rabbit Hole. It was a birthday gift, and I had the first sip and the last sip, and our mutual buddy, Kevin, decided to drink the rest of it.
Oh, wow.
So it's Rabbit Hole High Gold Straight bourbon whiskey, high rye, double malt, 95 proof.
Nice.
what I get is a big butterscotch burst on the nose.
Ooh, that's a good flavor.
It really is pronounced.
Does it remind you of like a Werther's? That old woman, it's like an old woman candy.
He remembers. He
probably
has one in his pocket.
I love Werther's.
Because we got those at the rally, the butterscotch candies.
No, they're actually the honey ones. They were the honey. They were great. They pull your fillings out just to let you know.
Yeah, well, so you get your little goodie bag, right? Side note, you get your little goodie bag, and there's these candies in there. I'm looking at these. I'm like, what the fuck?
I thought they were rando.
How rando,
yeah,
right? And I was just like, at the end of the day, I'm like, can't wait to get back to the room to get one of these. They were so good. But anyway, big butterscotch.
Yeah.
Big butterscotch, but on the back end, pepper and spice finish, so it's got the punch.
Good. Love it.
Hey, James, I got a question for you, though. Is it true? I've heard rumors. Is it true that they give you a bag of Werther's with your AARP card?
I wouldn't know. Because I never opened a fucking envelope.
Because I'm only listen. They want me bad, dude. I get like 3 emails a day, man. Right? Yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm not even 50 yet. I'm be 49 this year, and I get like 3 emails a day, man. They're trying to come after the younger demographic, I guess.
Casey's gonna get him. Casey's gonna get him next month.
I get that shit in the mail.
Yeah. I get $5 off my movie ticket, so y'all pound salt,
dude. Yeah, there you go.
AARP card. Here you go, bro.
Do you really?
Yes,
what
I do.
I'm kidding.
So
don't do that.
My dad is somehow, even though he's passed long since I lived at this house, he's somehow attached, and I get AARP stuff.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Well, you're gonna get actually in your name in a month.
It saves you $1.50 off your 3:00 meal at Morrison's cafeteria. So
it's good. That'd be good. I need that savings. Inflation's real.
All right, gentlemen.
Take us home, Matt.
Hour and 11. So for those listening, all 12 of you, thank you very much. Just kidding. So follow us on Instagram, Whiskey Watches and Wheels. Hit us up on our YouTube, Whiskey Watches and Wheels. Website, whiskeywatchesandwheels.com. You can catch all the content there, blogs, videos, everything above. If you got any questions or suggestions, send us an email, contact@whiskeywatchesandwheels.com. And that's pretty much it, fellas. We will see y'all next week. All right.
Peace.
Later, guys. Peace out.